Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ha'rakah, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, all well. And shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Pai Allah from the GMS London camp. And this is news and prophecy, prophecy and news. I've basically got, it's a bit different because I got a manifesto basically. But it's dealing with the news because it's signs that we look for that basically show what time we're in, okay, and measure up to the prophecies and scriptures. As it tells you in the book of 2nd Ezra 9, the 9th chapter, about measuring the time diligently, and the testimony of Yahweh Shai being the spirit of prophecy. So in doing that, in the stead that Yahweh Shai told us to follow after, watch as well as pray. For the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. You have to basically stay diligent, all right, and look into everything and be up on everything. So there's a whole thing going out that's known as the Great Reset, all right, and this is, I've heard it on different platforms, but this is one platform where they basically put everything all together so you can get an idea. It's basically a manifesto of what the Great Reset is, and this is on the weforum.org or World Economic Forum, which is interesting enough because the choice as to where the Great Reset is coming from, due to the times that we're in, all right, and what actually caused the Great Reset, it's interesting that it's coming from a World Economic Forum, okay? So I'm going to get into this, and, Lord willing, you be edified. So this is the Great Reset from weforum.org. So it reads, it says, there is an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis. All right. And that's a key word right there, which I'm going to get into when I get a bit further down. It says to improve the state of the World Economic Forum is starting a Great Reset initiative. All right. So this is an initiative that they've come up with. All right. So it says the context. The COVID-19 crisis and political, economic and social disruptions it has caused is fundamentally changing the traditional context for decision making. Now, you read that, but there's a key word that has popped up twice already, and basically it's of great importance, okay, the word crisis, because as we know, COVID-19 isn't being called a crisis on the world stage. And when I say the world stage, I'm talking about on news channels, all right? When they're talking about COVID-19, they refer to it as a pandemic, all right? A global pandemic. That's what it's been referred to on most occasions. But the key word that's being used here is crisis, all right? The COVID-19 crisis. So let's take a look at that word crisis, okay? So it's the definition for the word crisis, right? So it says crisis, a time of intense difficulty or danger, all right? A time when a difficult or important decision must be made, all right? So let me double back actually. It says a time of intense difficulty or danger. So due to COVID-19, they're saying a lot of people are dying. But if you know anything, when you look up the statistics, it's got the power of under 0.005%, something around that percentage as a mortality rate, right? So that's the amount of people that are actually dying from COVID-19. But they're making it seem like it's worse than it is based off the strength of cases, right? And that shows you that the witchcraft of these words basically feed into the fear and the people are not privy to it. They're being deceived. Okay, but Isaiah said in the 33rd chapter and the 6th verse, it says that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Right. So that's why they're unstable. It's because they don't have wisdom, knowledge, or understanding to stabilize them. But so it says a time of intense difficulty or danger. All right, so that's what we're in presently, because you see a lot of people losing their jobs, regardless of how this COVID-19 is a plague. Nonetheless, it's killing people, but it's not to the degree that they're making it out to be. But the byproduct of this pandemic is basically has it where there's a video dealing with London where it shows you everything is boarded up. And the funny thing is, in that video, that's like more or less my stomping ground. So I'm around most of them built, like even I was out earlier today. So where he went to, I saw all those buildings closed up, right near Leicester Square and all them type of places. So they're all empty, right? They ain't got no one selling, nothing, right? Their businesses are shut down or whatnot. So it's definitely a time of intense difficulty or danger, and you have a lot of people running to the banks, trying to get a loan, extension of the overdraft because they're out of work, right? And they got no skill set to kind of get them out of that predicament. Anyway, so moving on, it says a time when a difficult or important decision must be made, and this is the reason why they're using the word crisis, right? Because this is what it invokes, right? They're using it because they're actually using it to cast a spell on the people, right? That's why they're spelling the word crisis on the people as opposed to the word pandemic in that manifesto. It says at the time when a difficult or important decision must be, an important decision must be made, the turning point of a disease when an important change takes place. Now, why has it got the word disease there, right? Because if you decided to look it up, it's giving you an inside scoop as to what they're doing, right? They fancy themselves after the Most High Power, so they're always going to give you an inside scoop as to what they're doing. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear, as they would say. But it said the turning point of a disease when an important change takes place, indicating either recovery or death. All right. So going back, it says the context, the COVID-19 crisis. All right. So let's get into it. So it says, and the political, economic, and social disruptions it has caused. No mention of any form of curing the people that are dying from COVID-19. It's only speaking about, and that should let you know it's an agenda that's going on right now. It says the COVID-19 crisis, mind you, no information about a cure to this disease. All right, this virus that's out there. All right, what they're saying is, and the political, economic, and social disruptions it has caused. All right, so it's more talking about this crisis is basically disrupted the way your day-to-day basically functions. It's fundamentally changing the traditional context for decision making. All right, again, no mention of nothing about tackling the disease in itself or the virus in itself. Just talking about all the effects that have happened due to the virus. The inconsistencies, inadequacies, and contradictions of multiple systems, from health and financial to energy and education, are more exposed than ever amidst a global context of concern for lives, livelihoods, and the planet. Right? So basically, what they're saying is that this whole pandemic has basically had the world unhinged, has made it where the world has been exposed as to how it functions so poorly, all right? And there's a need for a new way for the world to function. So since leaders find themselves at a historic crossroads, managing short-term pressures against medium and long-term uncertainties, all right? So that's what they're saying in rap. All right. So it says the opportunity. So this is what they're getting out of this. It says as we enter a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insights to help inform all those determining the future state of global relations, the direction. And this is what I'm thinking of instantly. I'm thinking, wait, there's no mention of no cure and to the virus, and let's even deal with a vaccine for their sake. There's not even a mention of a vaccine. All they're talking about is everything that's going on around this, all right? That's all they're talking about in this, all right? With the Great Reset, all right? So it shows you, if you read between the lines, what it's showing you is that they're using this quote unquote COVID-19 pandemic, all right, as an opportunity to change the world as you know it. Right, so it says, as we enter a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insights to help inform all those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and the management of global commons, drawing from the vision and vast expertise of the leaders engaged across the forums, communities. The Great Reset initiative has a set of dimensions to build a new social contract that honors the dignity of every human being, all right? And that even plays into the whole thing that's going on with the protesting, with BLM, Black Lives Matter, what other protests are going on, all these various different protests. It all plays into that because now it's making it as to where everyone is respected as an individual under the umbrella of this great reset, all right? And the word great reset even reminds me of renaissance, rebirth, all right? But aside from that, the main thing is called the Great Reset. Okay, so basically, the ideal is to nip it in the bud, is they want to establish their new world order, the new normal. Okay, and they want to present RFID chip. Okay, which is a mark of the beast. If not immediately, that's the ultimate goal. All right. Okay, and this is the thing, we're dealing with the devil. All right, the Bible speaks of, as the worldly quote goes, the greatest lie the devil ever pulled was making everyone believe he doesn't exist. All right, but in saying that, all I'm saying is he's gonna deceive you into following, adhering to his way. Right, that's why it says if it was possible, he deceived the very elect. That's how deceptive he banks on being. Okay, so ultimately with this great reset, it's gonna change the system and bring about an infrastructure for the RFID chip to be implemented in, because that's the mark of the beast, right? So with that being the mark of the beast, he's gonna bring forth and establish the beast system, right? Which the beast represents the NATO and the EU, and America being the daughter of Babylon. Okay, so and the mindset behind it, all these ethics they're talking about, is the image of the beast, right? So I'm gonna read the scripture, and Lord willing, you've been edified. This is Job 5:12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, all right? And as it Paul spoke of, and we're in tune with that, it says we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We're aware that this thing known as the Great Reset basically is a guise, all right? It's another way of basically saying image of the beast, mark of the beast, etc., etc. He disappointed the devices of the crafty. Who are the crafty? All right. When you read Psalms, the 83rd chapter, it tells you about he have taken crafty counsel against thy hidden ones. All right. And that's talking about Esau, Edom, because it goes on to outline those that are doing it. All right. How they meet in, they made a tumult against the Most High and sought to take the name Israel out of to make it unknown to the world, basically. Right, so it says he's disappointed with the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right, and so this is the Most High is gonna do this. All right, because this enterprise that they sought to establish, right, ultimately, it's not gonna be established in the manner they hope for it to be established in a sense of they get to rub out the nation of Israel and establish their rulership on the earth. It's gonna seem like they do, all right, because they're gonna bring about the RFID chip and all these start rolling out. But as soon as that happens, the next prophecy to kick off is gonna be World War III. Then after, in the midst of World War III kicking off, is when Yahweh Shai is gonna come, and within an hour, America is gonna be destroyed. All right, so this is why it says it, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Who are the wise? All right. It tells you that they are in the book of Ezekiel. They're wiser than Daniel. It's talking about Esau, Edom. All right. The Rothschild, Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gays, etc., etc. And the counsel of the fraud is carried headlong. They meet with darkness, all right, because that's why they call themselves the Illuminati, because they are the light bearers on the left-hand side, all right, in this time of darkness. That's why it says they meet in darkness in daytime and grope in the noonday as in night. Basically, do all their workings in secret. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor have hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Around our hope is in Yahweh Bar Shem Yahweh Shai Bar Shem Rakar Kodash. That's why he gave us the word to comfort us in these times, to basically keep us away from these things that are to happen in these last days, all right? And that's really appointed only to the elect, and that's why we hope. That's why it's our hope that we're of the elect, all right? And that's why we work to make our calling and election sure. So with that, I pray you're edified. Until the next one, say shalom.